the idea for people who are not familiar with the process, the idea is that Andrea and me will show the process of a philosophical consultation, yeah? So during the process, you're invited to sort of remain silent, just observe, analyze. But as soon as we have finished, I will ask who has comments, questions. We'll discuss primarily the idea is to discuss methodology. If things seem strange or you want some clarification or you have some objections, whatever you want, yeah, we will discuss what happened. But again, it is more to focus on the method rather than on a particular case of Andrea, although I'm sure it will be a very interesting case to speak this way, yeah. So, okay, so try to look at the questions, the type of question, the strategy, the answers to this question, how to deal with them. Yeah, all the methodological aspects. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for the introduction. So we're going to start with Andrea. Are you ready, Andrea?
Hi, yes, I am.
Okay, good, good. You've done consultations before?
Yes, with Cecilia.
Okay, fine. Okay. Was she nice?
Not so much.
Okay, good, good.
No,
I was
I'm
just
joking.
checking. Okay, fine.
It was
All
very
right.
good.
Okay, so you have prepared a question for today?
Yep.
Tell me
So,
tell me.
my question is, what is the best way to balance understanding and forgiveness of someone else's offense with self-respect?
Okay, wait, it's a long question. I want to
Yep.
write it down. What is the best way to balance
Understanding.
Yeah.
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness, yeah.
Of someone's offense with self-respect.
With self-respect. Okay, so I read it to you just to check. What is the best way to balance understanding and forgiveness of someone's offense with self-respect? Okay,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, suppose you tell this question to someone like this. What is the general impression that someone gets from hearing this question?
It's a blowing up question.
Blowing up. Okay, what do you mean by blowing up?
Just it's complicated.
Okay, it's complicated, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a complicated question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you agree or not?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay. Now, were you conscious that it was complicated initially, or you only realized it when I asked you to think about it?
No, I knew, and it's like since this morning that I'm working.
Don't tell me all these stories. I just want to know if you know or you didn't know.
Yeah, I knew.
Okay, but you like to explain things, yeah?
Yes.
Yes. Is that part of the complication, explaining things?
What do you mean?
Well, some people, they say yes, they say no. Others, they want to explain.
Yeah,
Understand?
I like to explain.
Okay, now explaining, does it complicate things?
No.
No, it simplifies things, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, so when you have yes, and yes because blah, 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 the yes is more complicated than the yes because blah, 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 yeah?
Yes, it makes simply.
So try to answer me. Try to answer me. Which one is simpler? Just yes?
Just
Or
yes.
yes because blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So if yes is simpler, yes with explanation is more complicated.
Yes.
Is that a discovery for you?
Yes.
Because you know why people want to explain, even though when the other doesn't want explanation. Do you know why?
Maybe because they want to express themselves.
Okay, they want to express themselves, like they are connected to their desire to show themselves, yeah?
Yeah.
They're not so concerned with the other person.
Yes, it's like about
Don't
yourself.
don't explain again. Again, you notice? You want to explain again. You notice?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see.
But must be frustrating now to speak with me, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. I stop you from explaining. It must be terrible, yeah. Did Cecilia as well stop you from explaining, or she let you explain?
No. She stops me a lot of
Okay.
times.
Okay. But you're a persistent guy. You still you keep
Yes,
on wanting to explain. Yeah.
Yeah. I keep
Oh,
trying.
what? Yeah, but do you want to explain like you want, or it's stronger than you?
It's stronger than me. What? Explain myself.
The fact of explaining,
Mhm.
like, for example, some people get angry. I ask them, do you want to get angry, or is just stronger than you? And often people say, well, no, I can't help it. It's stronger than me. I get angry. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't like your yeah. Do you understand the idea that you do something deliberately because you want to, and to do something because it's stronger than you? Do you understand the distinction or no? If you have a doubt, don't say us. Say, no, I don't understand. I prefer.
Okay, so you can explain me.
Okay, you understand or you don't understand?
I don't understand.
Okay, Cecilia, can you translate this alternative in Italian?
Yes. Ti sta chiedendo se tu vuoi spiegarti, è una scelta deliberata o se è più forte di te, non puoi fare altrimenti.
You understand the question now or still not?
No, it's still not clear. I mean,
Okay. So for you, the idea of distinguishing a deliberate will and something that just happens by itself in you is a very difficult thing to distinguish, right?
yes.
Okay. Does it ever happen to you? You do something and afterwards you tell yourself, no, I didn't want to do that, but it happened anyhow.
Yes.
Give me an example.
I wanted to do some work in this way, and then I make a mistake, and it just happens.
Yeah, but I don't want a mistake. I want just two different ways of doing things. Where you want to do it in this certain way, but it happens differently because you cannot control your behavior. Or you cannot think of anything like that.
I'm thinking maybe when about anger, for example, when I'm in an angry moment, for example.
Okay, so you get angry, but do you want to get angry?
No.
No, it happens by itself. There is something, a compulsion in you that makes you be angry, even though you don't want.
Yeah.
So we can say in a way that it happens by itself. If you're a psychoanalyst, you might say it's your subconscious, but basically it's not under control.
You don't totally agree?
Okay, I totally agree is impossible. I don't care if you totally agree. Do you
Okay.
tend to see the difference? Yes or no?
Yes.
But now you revealed something. You know what kind of people speak of totally agreeing?
No.
Absolutists. People who are absolutist. Because any normal person would say it's impossible to totally agree, even with yourself. Do you totally agree with yourself?
No.
No. A fortiori, can you totally agree with someone else?
Yeah, but not with someone else, but with the idea.
No, just that. You see, you keep changing. Can you totally agree with someone else?
No.
No. And even with an idea, can you totally agree with an idea, you think, or no? Wait, we have a problem with Lerato's iPhone. Somebody turn off. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. Do you think it's possible, Andrea, to totally agree with an idea?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So you're a man of faith, huh? A man of belief, right? Do you know why I say that or no?
No.
No? Okay. Are you familiar with Popper, Karl Popper?
No.
Okay.
Just
Well, let me tell you. He's a philosopher, and he tries to distinguish religious thinking or belief from scientific thinking, okay?
Okay.
And he proposed one interesting idea. He said, you see, in the history of science, there's always a process of falsification, of problematization. So we always find problems in ideas, and that's how science evolves, right? You understand? Understand or no? Yeah?
Yes.
So therefore, there's always critical thinking. You never totally take an idea. There's always problem. But in religious belief, no. Once you say God exists, I mean, you're not going to change your mind. That's forever. So religious belief is you totally agree with something, and you're not going to criticize it. You're totally with it. It's faith, it's belief. Do you understand the idea?
Yeah, I understand.
Because in religious thinking, there is an absolute. Makes sense?
Yes.
But in thinking, be it in philosophy or science, no, you always problematize. You always find problems. You always criticize. You always find limits to ideas. Does that make sense?
Yes, I agree on ideas as limits.
Oh, wait. Just, I don't care if you agree. I'm asking you if you understand.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I understand.
Right. Yeah, don't be sorry. Rather listen. You right away go with the agreement, with the faith, with the belief. You notice?
Okay. Yeah.
You notice or you don't notice?
Yeah. See. Yes.
A real yes or a false yes? Because I don't trust you now.
No, just thinking about it, but yeah.
All right. So you see how you're a man of belief or still don't?
I still
Okay,
don't.
let me propose to you another idea. When you do the work with Cecilia or other Italian colleagues, do you learn that the idea, you can always problematize an idea?
Yes.
Okay. So, and somebody that says, no, this cannot be problematized, this is an absolute idea, is this person a belief person?
Yes.
Yes. So if suppose you're supposed to problematize an idea, say, no, I cannot, I totally, absolutely agree with this idea, I cannot problematize, you're in a belief system, not in thinking. In thinking, you can always problematize. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So, but you are a totally agree guy, yeah? You want to totally agree. And when you cannot totally agree, you're not satisfied.
Yes.
Okay, so do you see how you're a belief guy or not?
Okay, yes, I see.
Are you one of those typical Italian hidden Catholics?
Heathen
Are you one of
Catholics.
those? What?
Heathen Catholics.
Yeah, you know, Catolico escondido.
Understood.
You like my expression of hidden Catholics?
It's the first time of.
Well, hey, I'm glad
I hear it.
you're discussing for something. You know what is a hidden Catholic?
No.
It's a Catholic that's even more Catholic than the Pope, but he does not admit it because at least the Pope admits he's Catholic, so it's visible, you know? But the hidden Catholics, they're even more Catholics than the Catholics, but they have none of the visible aspects, but the structure is there. They're believers. But if you speak about the Pope, they don't like Jesus, they don't like the Pope, they don't like God, they don't like any of this stuff, but the essence of Catholic thinking is in their genes, in their chromosomes.
So it's like
inner self.
it is my way of thinking, but it's like I disagree in the practice.
You disagree with what?
No, I mean, it's like this structure is in my logic, in my way of thinking. So that's why I'm Catholic hidden.
Right. Yeah. And for example, one of the way you notice those people, they like the absolute. They like to totally agree. And they want to explain everything to touch the absolute. And the more they want to explain until you have seen the light. You know, illumination, yeah, and that's why they cannot. It's like a prophet. The prophet, he has to prophetize. He cannot stop. He doesn't want to be a prophet. It's in him. He has God in himself. It's called enthusiasm. Yeah, you see?
Yeah, I see. I see now.
You like this hidden Catholic concept? That means no in Italian, right? Well, these poor hidden Catholics, they do everything to hide the fact they're Catholics. They spit on the Pope, and you know, and I tell them they're Catholics. It's horrible. You know, they're not happy. You take it well, you're still laughing, but some of them get really upset at me because to be called Catholic is an insult for them, you know?
Yeah. For me, it's not an insult because explaining myself.
Well, what can you do? You have to explain yourself.
Yeah.
Well, when you talk to friends, do you say, I'm a Catholic, or you don't say that?
To whom?
When you speak to people, you say, hello, I'm Andrea, I'm Catholic, or you don't say that?
No, generally I don't go around saying that.
Yeah, you hide it. Fun? Okay, you don't think I'm very funny, huh? You keep giving me this, you know? You don't think I'm funny, right?
No, it's just funny to discover things about myself.
Okay, but it makes sense or no?
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right. So you like to complicate things, yeah?
No, it's not about like.
Or you don't like it, right?
It's not about liking or not liking.
Andrea, I don't want, now you're doing the apophatic method on me. You know the apophatic method?
No.
It's a mystical process where you cannot reach Godhead. It's too absolute. So you use negation. You say what it is not, what God is not. But you never say what it is. You say what it's not. Yeah. And it's a mystical process of negation. Yeah. So I don't want to know what it's not. You see, I want to know what it is. So do you like to make things complicated or you don't like?
But I can't answer to this question because.
Okay, fine. You cannot. You cannot, or you don't want.
I don't want.
Okay, but you see how you translated it? You didn't say I don't want. You said I cannot, right?
Yeah.
Now, what is more absolute? What is more absolute? I cannot or I don't want?
I cannot.
Yeah, you went again for the absolute formulation. I cannot. It's pure necessity. You notice? You know, it's very funny because I'm trying to speak to you, but you're not with me. All the time, you're inside your mind with these, you know, when somebody says, you know, that's what the wife tells the husband tells the wife's go blah, 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 blah. Husband say, That means shut up, leave me alone. You know, I'm busy with myself, right? You notice? Yeah, you do it again. You see, you keep doing it. You're busy with yourself, right?
Yes, thinking.
Yes. And is that usual for you to be busy with yourself rather than being in dialogue?
Yes, it more often happens that I'm
okay.
with my
So
thoughts.
when you complicate things, you don't care about the other person. You just want to do your thing, but the other person doesn't matter. Yeah. Even probably the other is an obstacle.
No, I disagree.
Yeah, you disagree with what?
I disagree with the idea that if you're thinking, you're not with the other one. I mean,
well, I keep asking you to answer my question and not to explain. Are you resisting my request?
Yes.
Okay, so that's all. You see, I'm trying to show you that I'm trying to do something with you, but you resist, right?
Yeah, but
okay. So no, wait. Now you want to give me a but. Wow. Do people complain when they speak to you? Does anybody ever complain?
Yes.
What do they tell you?
Like, oh, you're boring. Stop it.
Yeah, oh, yeah, exactly. And do you know why they say you're boring?
Because I overcomplicate things.
Okay. You are with yourself. When people find you boring, it's because they think you're not with them. You're doing your own business. Yeah?
Yes.
Makes sense?
Yes.
But it's simple to understand, no?
No.
It's complicated to understand.
Yes.
You know, but the people that talk to you, they understand. You don't understand. But I'll tell you a secret. The more people complicate, the less they understand. The more they explain, the less they understand. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Yeah, and that's what I asked you at first. What's more clear, to say yes or yes because? Well, yes is more clear, more simple. Now, of course, you can say I get more information yes because, but yes alone, much more simple to understand, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you have this strong tendency to complicate, right?
Yeah, I admit it.
What?
I admit it.
Oh, well, that was hard. Okay, fine. You don't tell me. I don't totally agree. Once I answered yes to a question 10 years ago. You can always do that. I remember one day I only answered. Okay, so yeah. So did you ever think about why you like to complicate?
Because I have problems on finding satisfying answers.
Okay, all right. So you complicate because you're a guy who's naturally unsatisfied, yeah?
Yes.
And that's why you want to totally agree. You would like to totally agree, you see? But it's impossible. So you're permanently unsatisfied, yeah?
Yes.
You know how that's called?
No.
It's called a sinner. It's a sinner. It's a non-Catholic Catholic sinner. You know, a guy who's what is a sinner? Is somebody who is not godly. He's not godly. He's not holy enough. He has something bad in him. He's incomplete. Yeah. That's the impression you have. You're not satisfying. You don't find the satisfying answers, so you're not a satisfying person. You're unsatisfied with yourself. Does that make sense?
I ask you if I understood correctly, because I am a hidden Catholic and I try to find the solution with. I can't find it, so I am a sinner.
Yeah, but you understand why sinner?
Because I can't arrive to the perfect solution.
Exactly. Not bad. Yes. Makes sense?
Yes.
And there's a sort of chronic dissatisfaction with yourself and your speech.
Correct.
So you think by adding things, maybe you'll touch the absolute. Yeah. But it never happens. It's not possible.
Yes, it's like that.
So you try to explain, but people say, leave me alone. You're boring. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, most human beings are impatient, you know, so yeah. Is that funny or not?
Is really who I am.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
So, do you know
I didn't have to say sorry. Okay, I know.
but you know that the tone you have is a bit dramatic. That's who I am. You say, yeah, that's who I am. That's funny. No, that's who I am. You have a dramatic tone, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. You're a sinner. It's dramatic. It's terrible. You know? Yeah. Not funny to be a. God doesn't laugh.
It's undramatic because it's something that makes me suffer.
Okay, all right. So you suffer, you see? And it's normal that a sinner suffers, yeah?
Yes.
You know, maybe you get redemption this way. So, you know, why does it make you suffer though? Explain. I want explanation. Why does it make you suffer?
What is making me suffer?
Yeah, in this process, what makes you suffer? Yeah. Why do you suffer? Because you could find it fun, joyful, funny. No, you suffer. Why you suffer?
I suffer because I have limits in my expression. So
Okay, just stop there. Just stop there. Look how nice it is. You suffer because you have limits in your expression. Yeah.
Yeah.
And limits then is a negative concept.
Yes.
Therefore, you would like the unlimited.
Yes.
You see again the quest for absolute? You see it?
Yes, I see now.
It keeps coming. Your desire for absolute, right?
Yes.
You don't like. Have you studied philosophy or no?
I am studying it.
Okay. You know the concept of finitude of self, the finitude of being. Does that speak to you or no?
I understand the concept, but
fine. Okay. Yeah. So the idea that we have limits, death, physical limits, intellectual limits, all kinds of limits.
Yes.
Now, some people have a hard time with that. They don't like it. They would like to be unlimited. You know, some accept it. They think it's fine. It's part of being human, of existing. But some, it's painful for them. They would like the absolute. Yeah.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah. Okay. So you start seeing now your Catholic side, your desire for absolute. You want to touch Godhead. You know, Godhead.
Yeah. Now I see, because I understand it.
Yeah. It's a discovery for you.
Yes.
Yes. Interesting?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. But why is it painful? Say it, try again.
It's painful because I'm not satisfied
With
because I
what?
feel not complete.
Okay, you feel incomplete. You see, that's the sinner.
Yeah.
You see, there's something missing because you were kicked out of the earthly paradise. You know, when we were in the earthly paradise, we were full. Everything was complete. We were one with God. Yeah, kicked out of the earthly paradise, something is missing. And do you know the first gesture of Adam and Eve when they left earthly paradise?
No.
They covered their genital parts. They were ashamed of themselves. They discovered their animal limited side. Yeah, yeah. Plus, they had to suffer to work and suffer. Yeah. So it was shame, pain, all the human misery. Yeah, you know.
I understand.
Yeah,
And
which echoes the what happens to a human being from childhood to becoming an adult. So it's not simply a religious myth, yeah. But the idea of non-acceptance of this finiteness, yeah. It's hard for you to accept finiteness.
yeah, I was saying the same about acceptance. I can't accept that.
Yeah, yeah. And when you have a desire, well, it's a complicated, ambitious desire. And actually, if you look at your question, I read it to you again. What is best to balance understanding the forgiveness of someone's offense with self-respect? Do you see something again touching the absolute there?
Best, for example.
Best, yeah, best already. Do you see something else?
The effort of having everything from this question.
Yeah, right. You want everything, including opposite things. You want them at the same time. You have two opposites that you present to us, understanding and forgiveness, which can be opposite, offense with self-respect. You want opposites and you want the total thing put together and in balance, yeah?
Yeah.
And I'm going to propose to you that as well, the concept of balance is an absolute. Do you see why I say that?
No, I don't see it.
Because balance does not exist. Balance is a concept, like it's a very abstract concept that does not exist. Nothing is balanced in existence, nothing.
I can't see that.
Well, have you met a lot of people who say, wow, this person is totally balanced? Have you ever met such a person?
No.
No, neither have I. You know, it does not exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that even your body is not symmetrical. You have one testicle bigger than the other one. Do you know that?
Yeah.
You know, and if you were a woman, I'd say the same thing with your breast. There's no balance in human existence. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, but for example, if I have a pen, I can find the balance of it.
Oh, really? You're going to find the balance? And how long is it going to stay balanced?
Until another force comes to break this balance.
Well, tell me, show me the balance with your pen. Show me.
There is the balance, but I'm not so good with it.
Okay, you see, and I imagine most people are not so good with it because when you go to the circus and you see a guy doing balance, you say, wow, this guy is really special, right?
Yes.
You know? So balance is very absolute concept, and you know, you can reach it on certain things, but it's a huge job. You have to, yeah. So in general, balance is not there. So someone who wants balance is very demanding guy. Yeah. Makes sense? Hmm?
Yeah, I agree with that.
So you see, when you look at your whole question, you're ambitious, yeah?
I
Huh?
am. I know
Yeah.
that.
You know that you want something in the opposite, and you want absolute, yeah?
Yeah, I can't. I feel in myself that I can't desire something else from that.
No, is it that you cannot or you don't want?
I don't want.
You see, but again, you absolutize by saying, I cannot, you see?
Mm.
It's fascinating, no?
I put it close to feelings, being able
Right.
to do something or not to explain myself better.
Okay, but it's okay. Forget for now this, but the idea, again, you are very demanding. Yeah, that's the main point. And that's why you're not satisfied, because you want or hope a lot. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Must be tiring, no?
it is. It is.
And it must be anxiogenic.
It is too. Yes.
So let me ask you, why don't you take it easy a little bit? Get a holiday.
Because I feel that I cannot. I
Yeah.
feel in myself.
It's so you're a feeling guy, right?
Yes, I am.
I thought you studied philosophy, but you're actually a feely touchy guy.
Yes.
Yeah. And you trust your feelings, right?
Half percent.
Do you trust what?
Half percent.
0.5%. Well, then let's stop talking about it. You have to problematize your feelings, yeah? So
Yes, because
what do you think? What do you think of our discussion?
it's revealing for myself about
Revealing
myself,
revealing what?
who I am, how I think, and my logic structure.
Okay, what strikes you the most in this observation?
Who I am.
And who are you? Who are you? Tell me one thing about this who I am. What did you identify?
A sinner hidden Catholic.
You like that concept, huh? Or you don't like it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, why not is not very enthusiastic, Do you want to marry me? Why not? Not exactly enthusiastic. You agree?
Yes.
Well, why not? You don't like ideas? You think it's an interesting idea? I thought you'd be happy. Wow, that's interesting. No, not so happy. Why?
Yeah, because I was overthinking about the problems that this makes me. So I was thinking about it.
So you overthink, and you're the guy that wants balance, right?
Yeah.
you overthink balance. you're a funny guy, no?
Thank you.
Thank
yes.
you. Now, don't worry. This is French irony, and we have a disease on our side of the Alps. It's irony. But anyhow, what main problem this causes in your life?
Taking decisions and...
Okay. All right. Just take that. That's good enough. I don't need more. Taking a decision is difficult, right?
Yes.
Why?
Because I'm never happy enough.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Because you want full, integral, complete, total satisfaction. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Which is impossible, as you know, I hope. Right?
Probably not. Since I am
You don't know.
insisting in trying
Yeah.
to write there.
So this makes you rather impotent.
Like?
What?
Why do you say impotent?
Ah, okay. Because you know how you recognize a potent person?
Someone that can do things.
Yeah. So, and you know, to do things, what you have to do?
No.
It's simple. You have to take decisions. Someone cannot take decisions, cannot do things, and that makes him impotent. When someone who can take decisions, he can do things, it makes him potent.
Oh, wow.
Makes sense or no?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Well, let me take an example. Berlusconi, is he good at taking decisions?
Yes, it is. He is.
Okay, he's a potent guy, right? But of course, you don't like him, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you agree you don't like him?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, you don't think my Berlusconi uses Berlusconi is very fun. I'm trying to be funny, but I have a hard time with you. Okay, so I guess you're a dramatic guy, yeah. Anyway, so you see the impotent side of your difficulty with decisions or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it a discovery?
This
This
etiquette.
this,
I can't find the word in English. Just
tell me in Italian, it's fine. Tell me.
Etichetta.
Okay, yeah, it's a label. Okay.
Yeah, the label. Yeah.
Do you like labels or you don't like labels?
I don't like them.
Exactly. But it's
Because
part of this. Exactly. It's limits, but as well, a label is a decision. Does that make sense to you? That to put a label is to take a decision.
Yes, I agree.
And for example, if you have to take decisions, if you have to organize things, you have to put labels. That's how you're organized, and that's how you can do things. Yeah.
Yes.
But you don't like labels because the label is limit. Yeah.
Yes, but I have a question.
Ask me. Okay, I asked you lots of questions. It's your turn. Ask me a question.
Is it not putting
Wait,
labels?
stop. Look what you just done. Look at the beginning of your question. Repeat it.
Okay.
Repeat the beginning.
Is it not?
Okay, that's not a question. Is it not? Is not a question.
Okay.
Do you see why?
Because it's already affirmative. You want to say something.
Yeah, it's a teacher's question, typical teachers or parents question. Is it not the case that, you know?
Okay.
Are you a teacher?
My mother.
Okay, well, good. You learned from her.
Yeah.
Okay, hidden teacher, hidden Catholic and hidden teacher. Okay, now ask me a real question. Go ahead.
Is it putting labels on things, something, an absolute way of doing things?
Okay, so you're asking if to put a label is something absolute, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you know, what kind of people you think a label is an absolute? Oh, what are those people?
Like racist, for example.
Well, racist, but not even, let's call them absolutist people.
Yeah.
Racist is a form of absolutist person, right?
Yeah. Indeed.
Okay,
Yeah,
so the people that think putting a label is an absolute are absolutist people. The other people, they're just utilitarian. You understand utilitarian?
Why?
Well, because they put a label because at that moment it's useful, but if you have to change the label, you change it. He just wants something to be useful, and he doesn't care. I can change. You don't like that name, I'll give it another name as long as I know what it is. Yeah, it's just you see when words. That's one discussion there is in the Cratylus of Plato. There's two ways to view words. Either words touch the essence of thing, or words is just a code to identify something for practical purposes. For example, I will call you Alberto. I tell you, I'm going to call you Alberto just for the sake of the discussion. Alberto is you, but if you're essentialist, you no, I am not Alberto, I am Andrea, don't call me Alberto. You see, that's an essentialist. Yeah. Okay. So he wants a label to be absolute. But if you're just practical guy, I call you Alberto, fine. Let's go with Alberto for now, right? Get it? So you view, if you view a label as absolute, it's because you're an absolutist.
Indeed, I have problems with that too, because when I take a decision and I go direction, I have a problem on changing direction.
Yeah, well, generally absolutists are rigid,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not plastic. They're not plastic. You understand? They're not plastic.
Yes, yes.
You're not a plastic guy. You're a rigid guy. So a decision for you, it's for eternity. And it's got to be absolute, 100% sure for eternity. And therefore, wow, careful,
Yeah, have this way of thinking. Yeah.
Well, thank you, but it's a bit visible. Yes, it's a bit visible.
It wasn't a spoiler.
Well, if you think marriage is valid for one day, you don't think much about marriage. You can marry anytime, anyone. It's only for one day. But if you think marriage is for eternity, you're going to think a lot about it, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. And you're the type that, you think a lot to make sure that it's for eternity. Yeah. You see, again, we touched the absolute. It's got to be essentialism, absolutism. So that's why you cannot play with labels. You don't think labels are fun. You don't think they can be changed. Oh, there's a label. It's for,
It's forever.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why you don't like labels, because they're heavy. You don't play with them. You don't like to be called Alberto, right?
What could be a way of changing this?
I don't know. Give it. Try it. What could be a way?
First of all, I think you have to want it.
Okay, congratulations. Yes, you have to want it. I agree with you, but do you want it? And you're going to tell me, I want, but I cannot.
Yes. How can this possible?
Well, think about your global functioning. And now you saw a little bit how you function. Is there something in all this that, without being too ambitious, say, well, maybe this I could change? Something. Can you identify something? What?
So you mean like less ambitious?
Yeah, I like the idea of little steps method. Little steps method? I'll give you an example. Somebody who he's supposed to do jogging every day, okay? Yeah? But he has a hard time doing jogging because he wants to do 10 kilometers. He cannot do it. So I said, look, today you're going to do only one thing. You will just put your jogging shoes on. That's all. That's all. Just put your jogging shoes on. Don't even go out. Just put jogging shoes on. It's called little steps method. You like?
Yeah. No.
No, exactly. Well, maybe that's what you think about. For today, all I will do is put my jogging shoes on, and that's all. Why not?
It's boring.
It's boring. Yeah. No, exactly. See, you want excitement. You
Yeah.
want ecstasy. You like ecstasy, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. See, again, that's the emotional relation to the absolute, ecstasy. Yeah.
Hmm.
You know what's good about boredom?
About bore?
Boredom, to be bored.
No, I don't know.
You know, you cannot figure out what's good about boredom. One good thing about it.
No.
Well, it's an experience of limit.
How?
Okay. Well, why is it you don't like boredom?
Because nothing interesting happens.
Exactly. And you don't like nothing. And is nothing the absolute limit. There's nothing more limited than nothing. What can you do? Nothing. Well, that's very limited, yeah?
Yes.
Nothing can be more limited than nothing. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't like, but boredom can be an experience of limit.
Interesting.
Would you like to have an experience of boredom and enjoy it?
No, I don't want it.
Exactly. What can I do for you? I'm sorry, but I don't make it. Everything I propose, you don't like. So what can you do with it? What?
How can I being bored by in a situation and gain something useful from that?
Okay. Do you have a hard time to concentrate sometime on the text?
Always.
Always, exactly. Now, do you think that to concentrate on a text, you have to accept boredom? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Someone who cannot stand boredom is going to have a hard time to read at least a difficult text.
Yeah, indeed, I have problems on studying.
Yeah, because you become impatient. You want ecstasies.
Yes.
You want to open the book, look at the sentence and say, whoa, ecstasies. Yeah. You should take LSD then instead of reading.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. All right. But I see we have done our time. So let's make some concluding remarks. First of all, did you like our discussion? Rather yes, rather
yes.
Tell me why. Why?
Because it's discovering myself, as I said before.
And what did you discover more than anything else?
The source of my problems.
And what is that source? Sounds really great.
Being so heavy in the way I think, and so
the heaviness.
Yeah.
You have a strong gravitation, internal gravitation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What is the most surprising idea we saw today?
The Catholic.
The hidden Catholic, yeah?
Yeah, Catholic, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
It's the first time that I hear this description of me.
Yeah. But you understand it, yeah?
Yeah, now I can see it.
Will your mother be happy if you tell her I discovered I'm actually Catholic?
Probably yes.
You see, you can make your mother happy. You say, yes, my son, like Augustine's mother, who wanted to convert him all the time.
Yeah, Monica.
You know? Monica, exactly. You see your mother, you make your mother happy. You know, just one person.
Indeed, I say one last thing. I just gave the exam about Sant'Agostino, and I like it so much because I found myself in him.
Yeah, yeah. And in what aspect in particular?
Sufferings of him, where when he couldn't find answers for himself.
Yeah, and he's very much an absolutist, right, Augustine? Right?
Yeah.
No wonder you identify, you know, yeah. He's an absolutist and he has a mother that wants to convert him, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm already
all right.
converted.
Do you want to add something to our discussion or we're good?
No, it's okay.
All right.
It's time for the others. Thank you very much.
All right, good. Okay, so we're going to stop the discussion with Andrea. And now let's see if anybody has questions or comments about our little dialogue. So if you have, you just raise your hand and we'll listen to you. Yeah, to the extent possible. So, anyone? Yeah, Yubia, go ahead.
I am surprised that you didn't enter to the content of the question. You you didn't treat
wait, that I didn't. Okay, go ahead.
You didn't.
That I didn't enter in the content of the question. Yeah.
Yes, and
right.
You get all the form in the way the question was presented, the form, and the little signs the consultant give to you, the way he answered to the questions, and the words with he initiate the phrases, and it gives him a lot of information that you relate the after with the question. It was very interesting.
And do you know why this happens or no?
Because yes, because we reveal in every moment the way we think or functioning, or the way we stand in the world, the way we use the words, the everything in our behavior speaks about the way we think. The function.
Our being is manifested by everything at every moment. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But let me give you another way to look at it, which is based on a concept of aesthetics, which is that the form, often we oppose form and content, you know, opposing form and content. But in aesthetics, the form has content. When you look at a painting and you look at the style, the way it's done, the theme, whatever, or now the theme is already content, but you get as much about the painting by looking at the form than looking at the explicit content itself. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, yes.
Yes. And sometimes I think it's a mistake that people make in a consultation. They get stuck in the content when the form tells you more about the person than the content itself. Yes. So they want to deal with the content, and often they want to do it because they want to help. They want to solve. They want to find a solution. Yeah.
Answer the question.
Yeah, and answer the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you would tend to do?
At the beginning, yes, I usually do that. Yes, I get lose in the content.
Yeah, and that type of question, complicated question, it's a real trap. You know, you can totally get engulfed within it and get lost in it. You know, So the way by dealing with what this question expresses is more interesting than the question itself. See, the question has to be viewed as a symptom of something and not as an object in itself.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes. Very,
Yes.
very interesting. I never seen this before, that the content has, sorry, the form has content.
Yeah.
The form has.
It's a new idea for you that form has content.
I discover things in the observation of these aspects, but I never think about it like the form has content in itself.
That's why in our work, I like a lot to speak about the aesthetics of the thinking, the form of the thinking. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why we work a lot with the idea the way people speak, yeah, is more speaking than what they want to talk about. Yeah.
Yes, that's why it's important to stop them.
Yeah, because they often, if some people get upset. I mean, Andrea took it rather well, but people say that's not what I want.
Yes.
And I say, but if what to satisfy what you want, that's what you get in a pizzeria. You know, I want pizza Siciliana. That's what I want. Well, here we're interested about, you know, why you want this pizza Siciliana and how you ask for the pizza Siciliana and why you cannot think of something else in the pizza Siciliana. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what can be frustrating about the philosophical practice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We frustrate people from their intention. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah. Gui?
Yeah, I think it's interesting as she mentions that as you point out something in his behavior, you can see him shift and he is becoming more open, for example. I think he was being less absolutist as the conversation went on because he was open to new ideas. So it makes me think of this cliche of you cannot change other people. But I'm interested in like how you view yourself, Oscar, as a philosopher. You know, you're working with someone else that has his own mind, but somehow there is something happening in the way you work with the subject. It's like the person is changing, but who is responsible for the change?
And can you answer your question just for fun?
I think Andrea ultimately is, because he has to be open. But I think it's powerful, the method that you use. So,
see, what you can do as a philosopher, you cannot indeed, as you say, change the person. What you can do is create a context where you challenge the person, you see, where you make him do funny stuff, where you destabilize him, and then that's his job. If he wants to take advantage of it, work on himself, modify some patterns, but you cannot make him do it. Yeah, all you can do is create a context.
Yeah,
challenge. You push him like if you push someone, you know, like this to destabilize him, make him see things, then you see what he's going to do with it. Yeah. And often in the consultation, initially people resist because it's not a normal type of situation, not a normal process. And then some people will just resist till the end and even sometimes even get upset, and others accept to play the game and see how they can adapt to the new situation. Yeah. But indeed, as you say, you have no power to change someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes people do consultation they get irritated because they have too much a desire to have this power over the person. So if the person resists, then they get either upset, or they become too obsessive, yeah. And in a way, there's a rule: you should want nothing. Just play, play, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I am a teacher, so I can relate with this. You're trying to have an effect, but it can make you more frustrated.
Yeah. And in a way, it sounds strange, but you should want nothing when you do a consultation. You should just want to play with the person. And I think a good teacher should do this too. You cannot make someone learn if he doesn't want to learn, for example. But you can play with the person, create consciousness, create opportunities for learning, but in a way you cannot teach. You can only invite the student to learn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
It makes sense, yeah.
But for this, you have to give up the power, because if you want too much the power, you're gonna try to force it, and it will be visible because you get obsessive and upset. Yeah, you get irritated if the person resists. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that good?
Sounds good, yeah.
All right, fine. Anyone else? Any observation? Any strange thing? I've noticed often people after a consultation tend to be a bit stunned, like they, take a risk.
Okay, I would like to say something. I like this.
Wait, who's speaking? Who's speaking?
Isabella.
Isabella. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I actually like this, what you worked out with Andrea, this connection between the striving for the absolute and in the end not taking any decisions, and thus not being able to take a risk or to do something. And that actually striving for the absolute is also creating anxiety and indecisiveness.
Is that these connections you just explained? Is it new for you, or you were aware of them?
No, I was not aware of them, and I think it's actually quite interesting. It reminds me of a teacher I had, and he always said that we should try to bake small breads instead of big ones, and I think that's the concept you pointed out also, with the small steps, taking the small steps in order to changing something.
Yeah. But because see, there are schemes like this, which are causal schemes, and often people are not conscious of them. They don't see. So they have a pattern of behaviors they see in themselves, but they don't make the connection. And that's the important aspect of philosophical practice or consultation. It's to put all the pieces together of the puzzle and to show how it's connected. Now, in here, though, I must say I cheat a little bit, because I use certain knowledge, like knowing Andrea is Italian and working with Italians. The hidden Catholic is a scheme I'm familiar with. So quickly it was visible, and I know a little bit how all this thing, but I cannot just simply make to him a conference about this Italian hidden Catholic scheme, but take it little by little so he can himself start putting the pieces together and see how all this connects with different aspects of his life. So yeah. But once you have experience of doing a consultation, although sometimes it has a cultural dimension, which makes a difference. After working in many different countries, you pick up, different cultural schemes, yeah. But even if you don't know, the idea is to start taking all these little things and see how it fits together, like a jigsaw puzzle, put little pieces together, yeah, and start seeing the connections and not just a series of separate events, yeah. But generally, there are crucial schemes like the relation to the absolute and the rejection of finitude, independently of any cultural context. That's a very important scheme that you will meet. Yeah, people were fascinated, and there's an idea of Hegel when he criticizes Schelling, say you invite yourself too quickly to the table of the divine. Yeah, in the romantic perspective, or right away you want to touch the absolute, and you reject the mediation, you reject the finitude. Yeah, so these are important concepts, and again, Hegel identified this problem with the romantic philosophers. Yeah, a lack of patience. I want to touch the absolute right away. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this also actually backfires, because this actually puts the limitation even more, or brings it even more into play.
Right. Yeah. It reinforces precisely the limitation, because see, when you are obsessed with something and you want to reject it, in a way you give it more strength. When you fight against something, you actually give it strength. It's very paradoxical. The more you fight with something, the more you strengthen it. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
You give to the demons power by wanting to fight them too much. Yeah. Good. You want to add something, or we're good?
No, that's good. Thank you.
All right. Somebody else raised his hand. I don't remember who it was. Yeah, Sarah, go ahead.
Yes, two things on the methodological side. I think it worked well. Like when Andrea was a bit rigid with disagreeing, and I can totally agree with something, to use some philosophical idea to help him detach instead of confronting him, like by trying to explain how you don't totally agree with something. And I think this usually works well if someone is resisting or stuck. Yeah. And on the another idea is that I found interesting this idea that boredom is an experience of limits, because intuitively I have always experienced boredom as some vertigo or something that was totally undetermined. So it's a new idea for me. And
although boredom is a bit of a paradox, because it's a minimum maximum. Yeah, it's something that is so minimal that it actually reaches some form of absolute. You cannot be less. So it's a limit, but that limit becomes an absolute, like a negative infinite. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's the experience precisely of the minimal. Yeah, so minimal that there's nothing. Yeah.
Yes, nice.
Yeah. But generally, people that want ecstasis, that want the absolute, they don't like this. They don't like boredom because they want excitement. Yeah.
Yes.
And by the way, that's why boredom is such an important. Often parents react when the child is bored right away. They want to provide him with some excitement, when I think to be able to accept and reconcile with boredom is something very important in the growth of an individual. And that's the problem today, by the way, with the usage of phones and these gadgets, where today it's very easy to avoid boredom. As soon as people are a bit bored, boom, they go on some videos, on some chats or whatever, yeah. and boredom is very difficult. Yeah, but it's a fundamental experience. Yeah, to relate to life, to thinking, to whatever. Yeah, yeah. But today it's very difficult because of the context. Yeah.
Yeah.
You good,
Yes.
Sarah? You had something.
Yeah.
Good.
No, it's
Okay.
good.
All right. Anyone else? Yes, Sven?
I found this moment interesting when you were talking about labels, and Andrea had a absolutist approach to labels, seeing them as this sort of final, ultimate, and you suggested that it's something, a label can be taken off, and it was just a utilitarian, pragmatic way of using things. And it made me think again that our paradigm affects how we relate to concepts, affects how we see everything in the world, and how we can use concepts.
Yeah, because it's on this label thing, the projection, the phenomenon of projection is very clear, because most people that don't like labels, they criticize it for its absolutist thing. They say, because it's total, it's forever, but whoever told them, where does this idea come from, that a label would be an absolute, is because the person has this absolute vision in their own mind. And so they accuse the one using label of being absolute. They say, but why would you make it an absolute? You wanted different labels, I can give you another one. And they say, but he's not only that. Well, I never said he's only that, but that label appears at that moment. But we can change it, we can give another one, yeah? Sometimes you don't like that label, I'll give you another one. If you don't like it, I have more, yeah? But people project their own absolutist schemes, and they say, I don't like labels because they're absolute, but they make them absolute. It's this label, criticism of label is a very typical example of projection, you know, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Most people generally don't like labels. Check it out, you'll see. They have an absolutist scheme, yeah, and that's why otherwise labels, big deal. Use label, who cares? You know, it's just something we use. And often labels in our practice have only a performative dimension. It's not just to make some eternal diagnostic, it's just to provoke some thinking, no more. Yeah. Yeah.
A good example.
Wait, Peter, just once. Let me see if Sven has finished. Have you finished, Sven, or you wanted something else, or you're good?
Yeah, I'm finished. Thanks.
Okay. So, Peter, go ahead.
A good example comes to my mind of the spiritual business when Bhagwan ended his first phase, and then he said, the joke is over. And the second phase, he was Osho. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I know he has both these names, but I don't know the genesis of it. Yeah, but Osho has, I mean, the guy is a bit a different thing. But one aspect I like with him is that he didn't take seriously what he was doing. And that's probably his best characteristic. He said, because he was promoting meditation, but at the same time, he said meditation is a therapy for people with problems, you know? So he was having, I like better this attitude that others like Krishnamurti, which for me was so serious, so much believing in this stuff, yeah. Anyway, but that's the fun aspect of Osho precisely. He was playing a lot, yeah, you know? Yeah, he had other issues one can criticize, but that aspect I find interesting. Yeah, he was playing. Yeah.
I also
go ahead.
I like this idea very much of the aesthetics of thinking, And in the first phase of your consultation with Andrea, there was a nice finding of Andrea when he experiences that he makes in practice the same what you were discussing in theory. He said, I'm explaining while we are talking about my excessive explaining.
Right. Well, that's one important aspect, by the way, of the method, is that we come up with some concept or some ideas, and I always check. I asked him, do you see this problem in life? Because I don't want the thing just to remain as some abstract discussion we're having. And I always invite the person to see how this is concretized in his own life, on a practical standpoint. And this making this connection makes the practice, let's say, more real in a way. So it's not simply playing with ideas, but to make connection. And in general, people will see connections with their daily life. Even though they deny, and it helps because there was a bit of denial, but then he thought about it. He saw in his life, people say he's boring because he explains whatever too much. And then it helps him to reconcile with the idea by saying that, well, in his life, he sees it as well. So that's a very important aspect of the work, is to invite people to think about their daily life and make connection with the ideas.
And Andrea helped a lot with a very trustworthy body language and mimicry.
I didn't notice. I didn't pay attention. What did you see? What did you see?
His glance in his eyes, and when he discovered having problems that he is complicating things, then his eyes were like behind the wheel.
Yeah. No, it's I didn't pay so much attention, I must say, but often, yes, to pay attention to the face, body language, is important aspect, yes. But sometimes, when you do a consultation, you pay more or less attention to different things, and it's hard to, sometimes, you don't see certain things or don't hear certain things, Every time I see a video of a consultation, I see everything I didn't see or didn't hear, because there's so much information, you miss some, but it makes sense, okay. Are you good, Peter? Yeah, okay. I see Galina as a virtual hand up. Go ahead.
Hi. Okay, so I have a question about projection. You mentioned that you kind of cheated, that you knew that Andrea was Italian, so you knew about the hidden Catholic thing.
Yeah.
But how can you tell that you're not projecting something on the other person when you're, doing a consultation?
Oh, Galina, do you know you tell me a lot of stuff about you with this question?
I know.
You know that?
Of course.
God. It's not the question you're asking. It's interesting is what you're telling about yourself. And you know what you told about yourself in this question?
Surprise me?
No, not surprise you. Do you know or you don't know?
Well, I guess that I don't trust people.
Oh, yeah. And which person in particular you don't trust, you think, the most?
Oh, wow.
Well, that's easy.
You're
easy.
expecting that I'd say me, yeah?
Well, my friend, plus bad luck, I happen to know Russia well as well. So
yeah,
you
I was expecting that
the
one,
pattern on a golden plate here. Yeah, but it's typical desire of perfection, fear of mistake, mistrust. You're giving me in one question, you give me the whole menu. What else do I need? So here, the only thing I can offer you is what Jesus said, because you guys in Russia, you love the Old Testament, but there's a New
Oh God,
Testament.
I hate it. Sorry. Okay.
No. You're a hidden Orthodox. I got it. Yeah.
Probably.
You don't hate it. Okay, you don't hate it. You're the manifestation of it. You just expressed it. So Jesus said, do not fear, trust. But you guys are Old Testament. You don't trust, you fear, don't trust people, don't trust yourself. So how do you know you're not projecting? Just trust, my friend, trust, yeah? Take the risk, make mistakes. Mistakes are fun. They're not dirty. I know dirt is terrible in a Russian culture. Be dirty, enjoy mistakes, and happens what happens. You like my answer?
Yes, I was expecting something along the slides, but
Oh,
that was fun. Thank you.
That's very Russian as well. Who do you think I am? I am smart. Do you think you surprise me? I am not the glupa. I am not the durak or the idiot. Hey, no. You're not teaching me anything. I already knew everything. That's very Russian too. Congratulations. Look, if I didn't know you were called Galina, I would give you right away certification of Russian nationality. Perfect. Congratulations. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I love your question. You want to add
Okay.
something else?
No, thank you.
You don't want to give us again some nice Russian thing? No, come on.
So I can't come up
Just
with
this-
something, right at the moment.
All right, fine. Okay, good. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah, Cecilia.
Yeah, I was thinking that being a philosopher, we need to be dialectical with the we need to have a dialectical approach with the consultant. For example, Andrea was complicated, so you went for very simple, neat questions. Whereas, for example, in the reverse, in another situation, if the consultant is simple, we have to complex things in a way. So we have to go counter tendencies depending on the people we have in front of us.
Right.
And this is also very similar to drama, to theater. We work in a counter tendency with the people. So we go to the other side from the essence or how they are. This was one thing. Yeah.
Yeah. In this case, just to add on this, the opposite scheme would be the Norwegian scheme, where they speak only if it's necessary. They say the strict minimum, and it's supposed to be obvious. The answer is supposed to be obvious. And then indeed, I would problematize, I would complicate the answer by asking why and problematizing, yeah? So there I would have to do the reverse operation, yes. So, and that's always the job we have to do is whatever people propose, you have to identify the scheme and invite the person to a reversal of positioning and reversal of thinking pattern. Yes, yeah. But you had a second.
So in a
point?
way,
Yeah.
I want to add one thing. In a way, we have to transform as philosophers, to metamorph ourselves. If we tend to be complicated, but we are in front of a complicated guy, we have to become simple, and so we are not, we shift.
Yeah,
depending on
but that implies, first of all, that you're conscious of your own functioning, and secondly, that you're sufficiently plastic, that you can modify. But we see this when people train, when people do the training, that sometimes people are complicated. They have to learn to be able to play the different type of card, or the reverse. So you learn, and that's why all these exercises we do in the training are made to be able to modify your functioning. Otherwise, you won't do it. You'll impose your complication on people if you're complicated. So you have to be able to play, to be plastic and play different cards, different model. Like in the military strategy, imagine a general who only has one type of strategy. Well, he's finished because he's not going to be efficient. And if the enemy understands that, he's finished. And that's why the Sun Tzu, the guy from The Art of War, the Chinese, he says, for him, the crucial thing is to know yourself, just like Socrates. You have to know yourself. and then you know your enemy. These are the two things for him in the art of war. Know yourself, know your enemy. Yeah. And it's the same thing in philosophical practice. You have to know yourself, it's not enemy, but the person you're struggling with. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, this knowing of ourself is connected to plasticity. You learn to know yourself by learning plasticity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yes. Yeah, makes sense.
And you had a second
and
point, yeah?
yes, it was the reaction, Andrea's reaction. It struck me because it was ambiguous. On one hand, he was suffering, but on the other hand, we could see the pleasure of seeing things clearly. So it's very ambiguous, the reaction. There is pain in a way because you see your own limits and problems, but there was also pleasure. So I saw this twofold reaction.
Well, that is the wager of the practice, because we are looking at concepts or problems which are painful. And in a way, if people are very connected to them, they'll have pain. But the wager is that we'll invite the person to have the joy of thinking, the freedom of thinking, which for Spinoza, that's the utmost joy, is a joy of thinking. So we are betting on the fact that the joy of thinking will overcome the pain of the concepts we're looking at. Yeah. And that's why I insist very much on this. Well, isn't it funny to look at these crazy stuff we do to ourselves? Yeah. So that's the whole point. And that's a difference with sometimes people don't understand with a therapy where you stick with the problem, try to solve the problem. But we invite the person to take distance and to enjoy the thinking process, which becomes more important than the actual problems or concepts we're dealing with. Yeah. So that's the transformation of the person, actually, to invite to go on a meta level. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the whole struggle. Yeah. So people don't get stuck in it's how you relate to the problems. It's not the problems in themselves, but how you relate to them. Yeah. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. And there was a little joke between Andrea and me. In the beginning, he used to say to me that I was sadistic, and I would say to him, no, that's fun. That's not. So that's, it's particularly linked to his case. Yeah.
Well, actually, this comes from the Stoics. The thing that most of what is pain comes from a judgment. Yeah, and that's why if you modify your judgment, you modify the emotion relation. And by the way, if you look at this cognitive behavioral therapy, they pick that up from the Stoicians, right? That you have to identify the judgment behind the pain. If you modify the judgment, you modify the feeling as well. You modify the emotion. It's a very basic therapeutic principle that came from the Stoics. Any emotion is grounded in a judgment. Any pain is grounded in the judgment. So you have to identify this judgment and learn to modify it. And then indeed, sadism can become fun. Yeah. Good?
Yeah, good.
You're good? Yeah, okay. All right. Marie, you wanted to speak?
Yeah, I really like the idea that balance is an absolute, is looking for an absolute, because I think it's counterintuitive. Generally, we think that balance is something moderate or reasonable, and you highlighted that it is an absolute concept, such as looking for freedom or justice. And I was wondering, if we put in regard being dialectical in a sense is looking for balancing. So what would you say? Is being dialectical looking for an absolute, or is it something?
No. Well, no, there's a big difference. See, a balance, if you look at it, a balance, you're looking for some point of equilibrium that you reach, and that's it. You can have opposite things, they're together, everything fits perfectly. It's a totally static principle, okay? Dialectic is exactly the opposite. Dialectic is not static, as the name indicates. The dia of dialectic means going through. You know, often people make the mistake etymologically that dia is to. No, dia is to go through. And it is going through, you always have opposites. You have tensions. Yeah. So dialectics is the capacity to move through things. It's a dynamic concept. It's not a static. Yeah. So you go from one side to the next. You permanently go from one side to the next. It's not balanced. You're always on one side, but then you move to the other side. So it's not some static point where you reach where that's it. From up there, you cover all the angles. Yeah. But balance has that connotation. And often I notice people that want balance are rather greedy. They want everything at the same time and be happy with it. Yeah. They want opposites and be satisfied with it. Yeah. So that's why it can sound good, balance. It can even be some kind of view, some kind of ideal. It's not deprived of any meaning, but we have to be conscious that it's asking something very, it's like the absolute, you know. Now we sort of criticize the excess desire for absolute, but the absolute is a very interesting concept. It's very nice. It's fascinating. But the question is how you relate to it. You know, it's do you have some compulsive? It's like drinking. There's nothing wrong with drinking, except if you think you need to drink. Then there's a problem with drinking. But if you think you want to have a glass of wine or even two, go ahead, right? So the problem with these concepts is not so much the concept in themselves, but is how, the fact we relate to it unconsciously and the compulsive relation to these concepts. Yeah. And that's what happened with the absolute. It's an idea of Plato. He criticized the young man that discovers the infinite, and he said he goes through the streets of the city yelling the infinite, you know, he's joking at it because he's drunk. You know, there's a drunkenness with these concepts. Otherwise, in themselves, they're fun, they're useful if you're ready to work with them. Yeah. But it's the drunkenness and the obsession, which is the problem. So same with balance, same with absolute, same with anything, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But most times people go ahead.
We have to keep balancing things to keep them in movement and not static or in inertia.
Yeah, I prefer the concept of plasticity rather than balance. Because plasticity implies precisely you adapt, you're available, you modify. Yeah, there's nothing rigid about it. Yeah, you know. Yeah. In fact, some people who are stuck in the finiteness that only think about survival, I try to invite them to an experience of the absolute through beauty, through some kind of infinite. I'll do the reverse. I'll try to get them to experience with the absolute and reconcile with it because they're useful concept. They're important. Yeah. But then the problem is the reverse problem. They're stuck in the survival and the finiteness. So there you want them to have this experience of the absolute. So it's always the rigidity, the lack of plasticity, the lack of availability, the problem. Yeah. Yeah. So that's where we have to be plastic. Some people have to be slowed down. Others have to be accelerated. So there's no, there's no. So you have to work on the weakness of an existential system or a given thinking. Yeah. Yeah. Does that clarify things?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? No, that's it. No one else? Well, if you have no one else, then we'll stop here. If nobody has any other comment. Okay, well, if that's it, then See you next time. Yes. And for people that have never done a consultation, I invite you to have the experience, not necessarily with me. You can speak to Leila if you want to try this. As well, for people who don't know, we do courses, different courses. Leila, you want to say something about the trainings? What's planned or something? What's the...
Yes, but at the same time, I'm looking and I think everybody is involved in something. I'm just looking.
Oh, okay.
Except
Fine.
a couple. Yeah, I think everybody is involved into something, except one person. Yeah, so I will send an email tomorrow with the recording of the session today and also the information about our activities. Yeah, I think that,
Okay.
yeah, Gödel, I think you're the only one that is not involved in something.
Yes. Okay. All right. Fine. So let's see you another time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.